I tried to stay quiet, keep my head down low, but the Spirit of the Lord said, son, let it show. Like a wild wind blowing through the midnight pines, His word burns hotter than Kentucky's shine.
It's October. The air is crisp and fresh. The breeze is chilly, the bucks are chasing, and the colors are magnificent. October is so much more than jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkin spice, and Friday night lights. For me, October is about the bright plethora of colors from the autumn trees. It's about the first little sprigs of green wheat fields. It's about camouflage, a finely tuned bow, and an old, swolled-up whitetail buck. The preparation and excitement that surround the first hunt of October is something that in itself should be categorized right alongside a Christmas morning and Thanksgiving dinner. At least that's how I feel about it. Deep in the heart of God's country, many things can be found. God's most magnificent creatures, like God Himself, family, success and failures, some of the best memories money can buy, and of course, a good time. Join me and let me show you the world through my eyes. These elusive birds. I'm Sam Pearson. This is my life.
The memories and lessons.
And this, well, this is the Okie way. We are hour one of day one this morning. I'm getting dressed, getting ready to head out. On this hunt, I'm hunting a small acreage on a riverfront in late October. It's got everything from wheat pastures to feed trees, corn feeders on the neighbor's property, and food plots on the other side. I have no idea what to expect, but have a few days. So I begin by glassing from a small vantage point just to gather an idea of what is here and attempt to locate a mature buck.
So we just got up here. I'm sitting up on the fence line by the road, just looking over this field. Just trying to get a feel for what's going on down here. It's so still and so calm. There's hardly any wind blowing whatsoever.
I think at times I let my excitement build up a drastic expectation, and I'm quickly reminded, in a burst my own bubble sort of way, that nothing is ever as easy as I imagined it would be. The first day is dead. I'm talking not even a scurry from a squirrel.
So far we haven't seen anything yet. Shouldn't be long though. They should be up moving right now.
Although the morning is dead, there is something admirable about being alone in God's creation. It tends to create an opportunity for deep thought, plans, and reflection. It also creates the possibility to experience the creation of God in a new light, to sit and take it all in, the sights, the sounds, smells, the warmth of the morning sun on your back, the air rising as the sun warms the earth. There's always a moment at dawn, I refer to as the breath of God, the moment when the world around you that was previously dead erupts into life. A split second, and then the breeze picks up, the birds sing, and the world wakes up for the day. The next morning, however, leans slightly in my favor. it's a great field, and like last year I think we had like 30 doe out here. I mean, it was just ridiculous the amount of doe we had standing out here in this field any given evening. And there was several handfuls of bucks of all different shapes and sizes, but they were pretty elusive. They stuck to the trees most of the time. You wouldn't see them out feeding with the does. But really though, you know, if you just sit down here and be quiet, you can almost hear a deer coming even from this far away. As the morning goes on, I decide to move around a bit without fully leaving my scouting area. This is a precaution to prevent me from spooking any deer until I'm ready to move in and make a play. So I guess that's what we'll do. We'll check the windage. And then we'll try to find another spot to glass from for the last couple hours of this morning. I think it's warmed up enough now I can shed this jacket. Late morning, I begin to spot does moving across the landscape. A doe and a fawn, that's what it looks like to me. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Really, I'm just staying buried up on the tree line, or on the fence line. Just glassing the tree line across from me in the field itself. Anything steps out on that field, like in two doe, you can spot them fairly easy. It's just hard to get close enough to shoot. That's the big problem. As the temps rise and the morning turns to afternoon, the disappointment of the previous day seemed to be a distant memory. As the evening approaches, my wind shifts and allows me to leave my post and lay eyes on different parts of the terrain. That's a buck. As I'm moving through the property, I find myself nose to nose with a young 6-point buck at a mere 30 yards. I make a decision not to shoot him and back out to a safe distance to observe. As the evening sun falls, I observe yet another buck that is much larger in size. The aha moment. At this point, I have collected enough information to know where to plant myself, to have the best odds possible of encountering a nice buck. I decide to move into the wood block and try to make a play the next day. Once I make it into the hardwoods, it doesn't take long before I begin to spot signs that I am in fact in the right area. All that is left to do is pick a tree to test out my new saddle rig and hope I'm hunting the right buck. We just got up the tree and I'm all set up now. My first ever attempt at a saddle setup. So far seems alright, I guess. Not terrible. A little while later that morning, I'm up a tree and ready for action. That, unfortunately, doesn't pan out. I decide to climb down and move further into the woods through the late morning and the early afternoon. We're back on the ground now. I moved to a different area. Different scrape. I left my saddle and all that in that tree, so if I happen to need to go back there, I can. That doesn't pan out either. For the evening, I'm back in the saddle again, ready for action, and I don't have to wait long before I start seeing deer. So we're back in the saddle again for the evening hunt. We gave it a couple hours, let it cool down. Now we're back again. I just slipped in here and climbed up in the saddle because I left everything earlier. So we just slipped right in. Now we're set, ready to go. So just wait and see what the evening holds. We got our Rage hypodermics right there. Pretty good, nasty little broadheads. First time ever using them, so I don't want that. I spot some does and a young buck moving through the area, and this gets my hopes up for a second look at the buck I saw the previous night. We about out of shooting light. Yep. Unless he just walks out in the next 5 minutes, we're done. Toast. So, we have now rolled into November, and the rut is in swing. The time has changed, and this is our last day. We're fixing to head out to the field. We just got a major cool front moved in. I'm all bundled up. Gonna be a good day. The next morning, I'm back again. The wind is howling, and the temps have dropped majorly. I dove deeper into the woods this time, about 100 yards off what I believe is his bedding cover. I had some does move through early, but that was all the activity I saw that morning. So I managed to scrounge up a little bit more time. I have one evening left to try to hit him hard. And I'm going in calculated and aggressive on this big boy. It is late afternoon, kind of curving off into the evening, so I'm trying to get in here. I've got plenty of time to make a calculated approach, try to slip past those does. This is my last hoorah. It's a Hail Mary play here. My last hoorah before I have to stop this hunt. So,
I cook up a plan to make my way downwind from his bedding cover, sneak past the doe beds, and place myself in a feeding area directly behind his bedding. I am filled with emotions of all kinds at this point. Slight panic, the thrill of trying to be stealthy and undetected, and the ever-growing possibility of leaving without a second glance at this buck. The thoughts swirl around my head, much like the wind in the area I'm headed to. Upon my arrival, I find myself in a pile of does. So I sit and let them pass through the area. After a while, that sinking feeling is back. And in a moment of self-doubt and desperation, I decide to get up and move to a different spot. This move proves bad. Right as I stand up over the hill comes a group of does and my buck in tow. At 20 yards in the open, I'm busted. I quickly make a snort wheeze sound to try and draw him back, but it's too late. His does busted me and my hunt is over. A lot can be said on the topic of defeat. However, essentially it boils down to what we choose to do with it and how quickly we are able to bounce back that decides whether or not it's a minor setback or a permanent one. As the light quickly fades on what is quite possibly my last day for this hunt, I can't help but be filled with an overwhelming feeling of frustration.
As quickly as October came and went, the ever-intrusive thought that perhaps November will likewise come and go. The question that remains, lingering, rattling around in my head like the ball in a spray paint can. Will the rest of my season come to pass as this journey has? And that is the kind of thought that truly lights a fire in your bones.
Yeah, you lit me on fire. There's a fire in my bones.